Well, you saw me messing things up. But anyway, hello YouTube pipers. It's Rick here again. I'm going to try and light a pipe here and not smoke it like a freight train like I did yesterday. I'm trying a different method of filming this, and I'm doing, at least I have audio, but I'm doing just as poorly as I've been doing with the other. But so what? I'm an amateur and I'm old, and I get to do all that stuff because I'm old. Anyway, I'm filling my Bing's favorite once again. With Carter Hall, just so you know. And let's see if I can do this without burning my finger again. I have filters on the way. I was told not to puff so hard. That way I wouldn't have the problem with the tobacco, but I don't know how right that statement was, because if the tobacco's not going to be blocked and the air flows through it, and there are little bits right there at the stem, it's going to come. Anyway, yesterday the pipe didn't want to stay lit. I think that was one of the reasons I might have been puffing like a freight train. I had a few more pipes I thought I'd show you. Yeah, I got more. Wind's blowing out there again, and Hunter's over there sleeping. He hates the wind. Poor baby. Okay. First one I'm going to show you is a Vaughn or Fowen. I like the stem. I like the blue band. I like the bowl. I like the color. I like the pipe. It's a Fowen 8044, if anybody's interested. Very nice pipe. I like it a lot. Now this one, I'm not sure what it is. I tried to see on the side what it says, and it's written in such fancy lettering that I'm not sure. But I think it's Paul Henry. See if you can read it. Nah, the light's not good enough. I don't know, maybe. Very short. Very short pipe. Very tiny bowl. And it doesn't look like briar. It looks to me like it's oak. But I don't think they make pipes out of oak. And this one, I'm not sure where I got all these, to be truthful. Between eBay and Etsy and smoking pipes and cigars and tobacco, I'm not sure. This one It's a very small bowl, bit of a long stem for the size bowl. I'm not sure what the bowl is. Some people might call it an apple. I don't know. I need to look all that stuff up, I guess. But this is an ROPP, a ROP étudiant. And it says made in France J22. Not a bad little pipe. And this one's the one my kids got me. Kind of blocky. Not crazy about the stem. It doesn't feel right in your hand. But that's a piece of wood, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I said, would you get me a pipe? And that's what I got. That was for my birthday in February. Now, yesterday I said I might try and think of something to tell you about my Uncle Clyde, who was like a brother to me. First, you have to remember I was 4 and he was 9. Now, this is me. I think I'm about 6 here. This is the youngest photo I have of me. Look at those teeth. Too much candy. Now, this is Clyde. It's kind of, the picture is kind of fuzzy, so you won't be able to tell much from it. But that's Clyde. About that age. He was my uncle. 4 years difference. Never did seem right, but, you know, strictly speaking, he was my mother's brother, so he was my uncle. Now, this is the other person that will be in the things that I tell you. It's my grandmother with Clyde. Hat fell off. And like I said, when we first came over, I stayed with my grandmother for a while, and Clyde and I shared the same room. Used to be his room. So I don't know how he felt about that, really. But there wasn't much he could do about it, I guess. One of the things about Clyde during that time, his mother made him take tap dancing lessons. I don't think he wanted to do that, but she had him taking tap dancing lessons. They had a small studio up in the terrace near where we lived. And being my big, quote unquote, brother, I wanted to do everything he did. So when he came home, I begged him to teach me what he had learned, so I could tap dance too. So he said, okay, he'd teach me. My mother, or my grandmother, had wooden floors that she was very proud of. Shiny oaken floors, polished, so you could almost see your face in them. So anyway, Clyde would put the shoes on, show me the steps he had learned that day, and then say, here, put the shoes on. So you got to have the noise. You can't do it without the noise. And I said, okay. So he tied them on my feet real tight so that I could move in them without them falling off. And I did the steps that he did. I can't remember what it was. Clickety clack, shuffle, shuffle, or something like that. I don't know. It's a long time ago. I wasn't very good at it. I don't think he wanted to be very good at it. But anyway, he said, you got to do it harder than that. You got to make the clickety clacks. You got to make the clickety clacks. You can't call yourself a tap dancer unless you're tapping away and making those things click on that floor. So there I was dancing hard as I could. Clickety clack, all the time. Put my little footprints in that wood. And I was dancing away, and he said, you're doing great. And all of a sudden, he wasn't there, and I heard the back door open. It was my grandmother coming in. She was carrying groceries in. She saw what I was doing, clickety clack, shuffle, shuffle, clickety clack. And she looked at her floor. She heard the clickety clack of those metal taps. She nearly dropped her groceries. She came running in there. What are you doing? You're messing up my floors. You're scarring my floors. What are you doing? Clyde Lynn, where are you? Of course, Clyde was in the other room reading a comic book now. He said, what's wrong, Mama? You let your nephew do this? He said, I was reading my comic book. I didn't know what he was doing. I didn't hear anything. That was the first thing I remember. He never got in trouble. It was always me. He always got it turned around on me. He was a sharp little bugger. That mind of his. And there was always a sparkle in his eyes because he knew. He knew. He definitely knew. So I got in trouble. I don't know if the scars are still in that floor or not. But I was really hitting the boards with those taps. We used to go out on the golf course because the golf course surrounded us. The 18 holes of the municipal golf course on Maybank. And the guy, I can't remember his name, Old Man Williams, I think is who it was, is what we called him. I think that's who it was. I don't remember now for sure. But we were doing something on the golf course, and we weren't supposed to be there to begin with because it's for golfers, not children. So Clyde saw him coming for us, and he said, run. So we ran to the house. We just knew he was going to follow us to the house. He said, make a sign, say we're not home. So I wrote up a sign that said, not home, won't be back, don't bother knocking, or something like that. And my grandmother came home and found that sign. Clyde Lynn, what is this? Pointing at me. It's his handwriting. You know we don't leave signs on the door when we're gone. They're just silly stories. They're not anything in particular, but he used to get me in trouble all the time. He was a character. From the time he was 9 until the time he grew up and we went our separate ways. He was the type person that if you met him, you were his friend. And any woman he saw wanted to be his friend, or more than his friend. He just had the personality. And I kept begging him to tell me what the secret was. And he said, I don't know. It's just there. It's just me. Miss that guy. Well, I hope I haven't bored you with all that. It was just a couple of silly stories from way back when we were kids. I don't really have anything to say. And I do know that this is one you're supposed to form into your own pipe, but I just thought that was funny. But anyway. Well, I hope you folks are having a good day. I hope you didn't find me too boring. I hope that you can understand what a good person Clyde was. He had a heart of gold. He would have given you the shirt off his back. He's missed by a lot of people. All right, folks. I'm going to turn it off now because I've been on here long enough. So I'll say, God bless. Until the next time.